Greetings. um, so I decided what I would do this summer is put together a couple of short videos to illustrate how you can do some of the SPSS assignments, or at least give you a little help with that. And the first step is downloading the SPSS data set and opening SPSS and seeing what the screens look like. So if you go to your D2L page, it should look something like mine. It might look a little bit different because I'm an instructor, so my page might not look quite like yours. So what you want to do is click on this option here for the SPSS data set. Now, what this should do if you've installed SPSS on your computer, and that's the first thing you have to do, it should open the SPSS data set on the screen in front of you. Now, unfortunately, because of the way my computer is set up, it does some weird things and tries to run Windows in the background if I open it this way. So what I did was I saved a copy of the file, the data file, to my desktop right here. And by the way, when you're done using SPSS for the first time, what you should probably do is save the data file to your desktop or to a jump drive or something like that, so you don't always have to get on D2L to do your homework. So I'm going to click on this file right here, GSS 2008 sample 66/2010.save, and that's the same file that is on the D2L page. When I click on this, SPSS should open up. Wow, a lot of jumping around there. So SPSS has opened, and we have a couple of things to look at here. First, this is what we refer to as the variable view in SPSS. What it is listing in each row is the short variable name that SPSS will use to identify variables in each row. For instance, let's see here. Kong. Well, we have no idea what that is, but that's the name of the variable. Now, we can get a better idea what that variable is by looking at the variable label over here in the column headed by label. And you see what it is confidence in Congress. Confidence in Congress. Now, you can see what the values are by clicking this tab in the same row under the column values. And what this shows you is the values for this variable are 0 for one of the no answer options. 1 is complete confidence, and it ranges up to 5, no confidence at all. Numbers 8 and 9 are what we refer to as missing data, people who said don't know or they didn't answer the question. Okay? Now, let's take a look at another view. This is the variable view screen. Here is the data view screen. Now here with data view, we have the variable names across the tops of the columns. So for instance, here is that variable Kong, the confidence people have in Congress. And you probably have noticed that this looks a lot like a spreadsheet, like an SPSS spread, or I'm sorry, like an Excel spreadsheet, for instance. And that's essentially what it is. It is the actual data. Each row represents one of the survey respondents' answers to all of the questions in the data set. For instance, here for the variable age, this person was 49 years old. For the Congress variable, they gave a response in category 3. Okay, I don't recall what category 3 was, but whatever that was, they were coded as 3 because that's the response they chose. Education, I believe this is years of that's evolution, I'm sorry. Education, this person has 12 years of education. So each row represents a survey respondent who answered these questions for the general social survey. And as you see, there are hundreds and hundreds. I believe there are 1,500 respondents in all. All right, So for the first week, mostly what your assignments are about is getting familiar with the data, getting familiar with how to use SPSS. So for instance, one of the assignments is to gather information about the variables, the variable name, the variable label, its level of measurement, and so on. Well, we've already seen how to do some of this in variable view. You can get the variable name, the variable label, the response categories right here in variable view. Now, I should point out also that the actual question used to generate these survey responses, the questions can be found in Appendix G. Appendix G of your textbook. And Appendix G, hang on here, Appendix G starts on page 494. And for instance, the congressional confidence question is, how much confidence do you have in the U.S. Congress? And response 3, which we identified earlier with the first respondent, is some confidence. Now, you can also get some of that information up here in the utilities function. If you click on utilities and variables, it'll list all of the variables and give you some information about those variables. So, for instance, abortion, ab-any is a variable name. Okay. Abortion, if a woman wants one for any reason, is the label. And the value labels are 1 for yes, 2 for no. And here this is identified as a nominal level variable. Missing values 0, 9, and 8. In other words, for these values, these values indicate that data were not collected for respondents. Again, either because they didn't know, they refused to answer, or they weren't asked. Our confidence in Congress question right here. Click on this, and similar sort of information. Variable name, variable label, missing values 0, 9, and 8. Measurement level nominal. Now, actually, I would not use this measurement level information to answer questions in, for instance, chapter 2 about level of measurement. Because as you see, this variable responses range from 1 for complete confidence to 5 for no confidence. So this is an example of an ordinal variable. So this little label here from SPSS is inaccurate. So you can't necessarily divine what the level of measurement is simply by looking at this information. You have to actually look at the response categories and determine if this is a nominal level variable, ordinal level variable, or something else. So now you will also be required to get some information on the frequency of the outcomes of these variables. So let me use this congressional confidence variable again as an example, and we'll go to Analyze. Almost all of the statistical analysis you do will be found under Analyze. You will go to Descriptive Statistics, and we'll choose Frequencies. Okay? Now, what we want to do is put the variables for which we want to get frequencies in this window. Now, if you look in this window here, you'll notice that the variables are listed with the variable labels, not the variable names. I want to change that to variable names because it's easier for me. It might be easier for you this way. That's your choice. What you need to do is right-click on your mouse or the bottom of your trackpad. And I'm going to change this from display variable labels to display variable names. Okay, this is just more comfortable for me. So I want to get a frequency of the congressional confidence variable. So I click on that, send it over to this window, and then just click OK. And right here we get the response categories: complete confidence, great deal of confidence, some confidence, very little confidence, or no confidence at all. Okay? And then we have the frequency of outcomes in each of those categories, including frequencies in the missing categories. So here we see that we have 994 valid responses to the question. In this column, you get the percent in each category. And then in this column, you get the valid percent. The valid percent is what we want to use in most cases because it's the percent in each category based on the total number of valid responses. And over here is the cumulative percent. All right. Now, I believe one of your assignments for this week also asks you to get some data on the measures of central tendency for this variable. So for that, oh, and by the way, I should point out that when we click the frequencies command, it sent us to this output window. Okay, so in addition to the main SPSS screen, where you have the data view or the variable view, there's also a separate output window. Well, we need to go back to frequencies, analyze, descriptive, frequencies. Note that our old command is still there, and we need to ask for some statistics. In particular, we want measures of central tendency. Let's get the mean, median, and mode. Even though we can calculate at least the median and the mode based just on the frequency table, we'll have these statistics given to us. Okay. Click OK. And now we get the same frequency table right here, but we also now have the mean, which is 3.41, somewhere between some confidence and very little confidence. The median, which is category 3, some confidence. And the mode, which is also category 3, some confidence. Okay? Now you'll notice that we don't see numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. We see the value labels. That's why it's important that you know what the value label, what the values represent in terms of numerical values. And again, that information we can get back here in variable view. Okay? All right, so we have our main SPSS screen here with variable view or data view. But at the same time, if we reduce this window, we've got our output here as well, a separate output window. All right, I think that should give you a pretty good introduction to what you need to get through this first week. If you run into a little trouble here, I think the best thing for you to do is to just keep trying and trying. Read the book, look at the demonstrations used in the book, watch this video again if you can tolerate it. If that doesn't help, email me or give me a call. Thank you very much.